Well, we've got Ghost and Lasher, not long joined, look like they're ready for frontline action. What's up, fellas?
Hey,
Ghost is an OG, just here to chill and kill, man.
is there anybody that's actually honest and ready to have an intellectual conversation?
I'm your Huckleberry.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
And
honestly,
who
this'll be good.
of which are the flat earthers? Is it all
Well,
of you?
Crit
I'm
and Matrix.
Spartacus.
Yeah, Crit and Matrix just responded. If you want to speak to them.
I'm here too. You want to talk to me, but I usually shut up. Go ahead.
Dude, your accent is so thick. It's actually pretty cool. So do you believe in like a firmament, or what is it that you kind of associate with, I guess?
No, the firmament is Copernicus. That's a Copernicus who invoked the firmament. That's invoked. That's inside heliocentric, that word firmament. And what makes it interesting is that how globe people don't know their own model or where their model came from. If you're talking about a flat Earth cosmology, you'd say the word rakia, if you're going with a sort of biblical idea. But the word firmament, that would be your claim. If it's not your claim, your claim would be, how is Copernicus wrong? Why was Copernicus wrong about firmament? And then from the flat Earth point of view, rakia would be the sky. And my answer would be the sky is not the ground. So if you're talking about the sky, I'd be like, okay, well, sure, that's great. We could talk about the sky, but that isn't the ground.
So do you like deny science, or what is it exactly?
We deny pseudoscience.
Yeah, what do you mean by deny science? Is science
like where is it that you're deriving your information to come to the conclusion that the Earth is flat?
In reality,
physics. Yeah, physics of water, starting with observations, measurements.
Whoever keeps interjecting with random comments like, "Oh, reality is disingenuous," I don't know why you keep talking.
Yeah, you just ignore them. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like people are going to.
Please, you're actually educated. I like what you're saying. Continue.
Okay, yeah. So with a flat Earth, you've got observations, measurements, practical demonstrations. You've got the physics of water. You've got the vast majority of human history. You've got, virtually everything. What the globe has for itself is a few photos from space 60 years ago. 60. I'd probably guess that your parents weren't even alive when they took those photos.
Yeah, no, of course. Can I give you a bit of a, like you mentioned history, right? And prior to the technology that we have today, they were able to also conclude that the Earth was round due to the shadows that were casted by the moon and on the moon, etc. I think I can give you the link.
Wrong. That doesn't comport to the geometry of the claim, because you need what's called a sinusoidal pattern on the moon if that is happening.
So
the shadow surface normal is not 90 degrees to us.
Like the point is that it's a spherical shape. If it's not round, it would not be spherical.
Yeah, where are you getting the idea that that's the shadow of the Earth on the moon to begin with? Where does that come from?
I will put it in the chat.
That assumption. You see the moon.
It's not an assumption. It's we've had astronomers back in the golden age of Islam, and prior to that, we've had Egyptians and etc. that also came to the same conclusion.
We reject their claims.
Why? That is the premise of the conversation.
Well, I was trying to explain to you that first the geometry is messed up because a sphere does not project a two-dimensional circle onto another sphere.
Why wouldn't it when one is significantly larger?
Because the light source casting the shadow onto one sphere is projecting the shadow onto a three-dimensional object whose surface normal is changing its angular relationship to the observer.
Yeah, but that would not change the shape of the shadow. The shadow would still be a sphere.
But it wouldn't appear as a two-dimensional circle. NASA doesn't even model it this way. I can show you right now a NASA's model of
sphere. It's a sphere, three-dimensional, and the casted shadow of the sphere would be a circle. That's the point.
No,
not the way you believe it. Sorry, Spartak. If you have a look inside chat, 35 minutes past the hour, you'll see the little white sphere getting a shadow cast on it from the blue sphere, and have a look what it does. It doesn't throw the shadows like you would expect. Sorry, Spartak.
I just posted a GIF from NASA's Eclipse webpage showing a sinusoidal projection of the moon onto the Earth, a sphere onto a sphere. Notice how it shows up like a hot dog in teardrop shape, and then a circle, and then it leaves a teardrop shape, and then a hot dog. It's because the surface normal is changing its angular relationship with the viewer, so the projected shadow is distorted relative to the viewer. We would expect this to happen on any sphere that projects a shadow onto another sphere.
And yet, it still comes as a circle.
It doesn't do that.
It does.
Yeah, exactly.
It
comes as a circle, which doesn't match the projection.
That's why.
No, it doesn't match the geometry that you think is real.
You're talking past each other. Lasher, see on the GIF image that Sporadic posted how it looks like an odd-shaped blob that's changing its shape.
And then it turns into a circle.
Well, the problem is, this is the problem, Lasher. You're laughing and you're missing the point. We don't see the blob shape in reality.
Right, you ever watch like a lunar eclipse?
Do you not see the circle?
Watch a lunar eclipse. It doesn't do what it should do if it's a sphere projecting onto a sphere like you think it is.
Right.
It's a circle.
Point up.
I gotta go. Take it over, Eli.
I'm not trying to take it over, ma'am. The stick going in front of the sphere also presents a circle shadow. So what's your point? Get to
it. What?
Yeah, right. I thought you wanted to be genuine. Now you're laughing because I don't even care. I don't know. It's too early in the morning. I'm just, like doing shopping at Wegmans. The bottom line is, fam, you can see the two gifts there. You're saying, how come a sphere projects a sphere shape, which the fucking sphere as a shadow?
The sphere doesn't project a sphere shape. That doesn't even make sense. That's
hilarious. That's what you said. You said
no,
the sphere.
That's not what I said. A sphere doesn't project a sphere shape. That doesn't make sense. A sphere is three-dimensional.
You know this is YouTube.
Project a 2D
you know this is on YouTube.
Circle.
You know this
That's
is on
what
YouTube,
it projects.
right?
You can't see that.
But you know this is on YouTube, right?
Obviously,
you know this is on YouTube.
That doesn't make sense.
Hold on, Lasha. That's the second person.
I thought you wanted to have a conversation.
Who's jumping in? I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Hold on one sec. Lasha, I really want to hear you speak with Eli, but this is the second person you've started speaking through. Like, we want to hear your back and forth, but please don't speak through other people.
Well, he misquoted me and then said something that quite literally doesn't make sense.
The conversation's recorded.
Project a sphere. Yes, please.
We heard what you said.
Also, mind the foul language, guys.
So we can, by all means, replay the recording and tell me I said a sphere projects a sphere. That doesn't make sense.
No, you said that shadow was a sphere shape. That's what you said.
A shadow cannot be a sphere shape.
That's what you said. You said, look at the sphere on the moon. The sphere shadow. That's what you said.
Oh my
and it didn't make sense, but that's what you said. Because
I suppose that's what I said. I guess we're just going to drag that one out then.
Thank you. Just leave it at that. The bottom line is the better point is you can see the stick causing what you called a sphere shadow. Obviously, it's not being caused by a sphere. So you don't need a sphere to cause, as you so called it, a sphere shadow.
Right. But again, like you're straw manning me here. I said it causes a circle shadow. It's a circle.
It doesn't matter. The stick makes the circle. The oblong shape is that a circle?
Question.
Or is that
so I'll ask you again.
Answer my question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what he said.
You can take it back over. I don't really deal with fools like that. She said she wanted to be like,
I'm sorry, but that's rude. Is that how you conduct yourself? That's rude. So yeah,
well, to people who aren't genuine.
No, we can stop there. I'm good.
Eli, we have to mind the way we talk to people on the server. It's in the TOS. Sorry.
Am I cursing?
I didn't call you names. I don't appreciate you calling me a fool. You don't have to be like that. It's not nice.
Well, that's what she's doing. What are you talking about?
Let's just reset.
You're not allowed to know.
Girl doesn't listen. What do you want to do?
Let's just reset. Lasha, was there any other things you wanted to mention about this shadow on the moon?
I'm sorry, I'm okay.
She said science, and I'm still waiting for some science that we're denying.
I'm sorry, that was just so distasteful. I'll let someone else speak.
You keep saying about science.
Yeah,
if you're not going to address any science that we're dismissing, then what's the point of talking to you?
Right.
She's offended, so might be worth moving on.
Poor baby.
Well, I'm kind of curious about what she was talking about.
You have not brought. She still hasn't brought any science that we're dismissing. She's brought up some observations of the sky with some shadows, per se shadows, because she can't even say there's shadows because she actually haven't been there to say there are actually shadows. So if you're ready to bring out some actual science, and if you know what science really is, then please bring them up.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter. At the end of I thought you were offended. Shut up. I'm still on the mic. Get out of here. Go on mute. Leave. Do whatever you're gonna, because you're not gonna engage. So go somewhere else. We're still talking about the conversation that just happened.
Behavior. That's unfortunate.
So, like I was about to say, we're literally at the point where her first her opening gambit was look at Aristotle and everybody looking at the shadows on the moon of the earth. And then we easily pointed her to the gifts in the chat. And that should have been it. Like, oh, I didn't know that. Because I'm expecting that to come from someone who said, I want an honest, genuine conversation. Like that should have taken no more than 2 minutes. And my thing is, like, I don't know why you guys let people, ick y'all around. I don't know. It shouldn't take all day. And I'm not saying get these conversations out of the way and she's not even making it a palatable conversation. Like if she can't look at those gifts and go, oh, okay, good point, then this is the kind of person that you can't continue a conversation. Like, when somebody's icking y'all around.
Some of us have more patience than others. Some of us want to try and help push people through the cognitive dissonance. But I hear what you're saying, Elijah. Everybody has their limits.
Yeah, I do too. Ask about me. How many people have I had conversations with in the morning, at night? Trolls that were like, thank you, Eli. I came in to troll, but like somebody like her isn't one of them, because we've had conversations with both types. People who troll, but eventually are like, oh, okay, I thought this was a joke, but I can see that what you're saying makes sense. And then there are people like her. Well, I'm saying determine which person it is a lot faster than 30 minutes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, thanks for the tips, Elijah.
I'm a little confused on what exact observation she's talking about that involves sticks and fear shadow. That seems to be a combination of a couple different things.
Side chat, Travis.
Denying science, dude. We're denying science, and that's where I wanted to go to. What's the science?
She's claiming the shadow is always round, therefore it's come from a spherical object. But when she says round, she doesn't take into consideration what Sporadic was trying to explain to her, that it would not be a consistent shape. It should technically change to this teardrop warped thing as the shadow moves across the face of the sphere.
Is that science, though?
Doesn't happen.
Is that science?
But anyways.
I think another question about the lunar...
Was that science, though, with a shadow?
Red. Why does the moon turn red is a bigger question.
But was that science, though? She said we denied science.
Well, she still never put forward what fields of science we deny anyways. So.
Well, she's talking about astrology. I mean, my bad, astronomy, where the difference between astrology and astronomy is that back in the day, ancient people looked at the sky and told stories about it. Oh, that's the same thing. I don't see. Where's the science at? Looking at the sky.
Elijah, what was the first question? Do you remember?
Does anybody want to have an honest conversation?
No, the second after that about the Earth. The first question was what about the firmament? That means she's coming, she knows what is the position of the flat earthers. Flat earthers has firmament. That's wrong. That means first things what she needs to do. Let's find out the position of these people, what they're saying, what they're claiming, what they're, and based on that ask question. Not random question what they maybe she read on the internet. I will ask them this, I will show them this about the shadows, about Aristophanes stuff. No, girl, first find out what these people, why they are calling themselves flat earthers, and maybe you can base the questions on that thing.
Oh, that's a good point, bro.
Yeah, very good point.
Well spotted.
Lasha, do you want to start all over again? We could reset for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, come on. Forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is love. Let's go.
All right, where do you want to start off at?
I guess
knowing what fires things, or do you want to start off? Sorry.
And potentially, maybe I'll do some research on what.
Can you repeat? Because I started talking the same time you did, so we kind of missed each other. What would you say?
I'm sorry.
We kind of started speaking at the same time, so we kind of got convoluted. I'm pretty sure that they didn't hear you or me.
Okay,
yeah, let's try not to talk over each other. Go ahead, Sasha.
Yeah, so I guess what he said, I will try and understand your perspective first. Maybe I'll just do some research. So if you guys have, I don't know, some sources or something besides gifts to give me, that'd be great.
Elbow, go for it.
Well, I was just trying to get people to start getting into actual conversation. So you want to know what now? Sorry, because I'm a little busy. So just kind of just listening and kind of trying to get. You want to what now?
No, the basics. So she probably had a complete. So I broke up. Okay.
What you're saying, like the points
Lasha, DJ. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but DJ can give you a sort of rundown of our position. DJ, if you've got,
go ahead.
you free?
Yeah, was my mic break? Did my mic break up though?
Yes.
Am I coming through clear?
Yep. It's
Yes,
clear.
clear.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
cool.
great.
Yeah. So maybe a lot of people have a misconception of what we're talking about when we're talking about a flat Earth, right? So when you Google flat Earth, you'll see a whole series of discs in space and propaganda that no flat earthers are claiming, right? So just firstly, I just want to mention the shape of the Earth. We're not claiming a flat disk in space or anything like that. Like, just talking about flat Earth generally, right? Just really basically, we're talking about
DJ, mate. DJ, I've got to stop you. Can you rejoin or something? Because you are breaking up pretty bad now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll switch internet and
Yeah, so Lasha, I'll just recap what he just said. What he said was that we don't believe that flat Earth is a disk in space. We don't have the heliocentric cosmology with a flat Earth. And that's a misconception a lot of people do have.
Okay. Do you want to continue with that?
Yeah, I'd like DJ to continue. I was just sort of filling the air while he reconnects, but that's quite a big point to make. DJ, you back?
yeah. Right. So when we're talking about flat Earth, right, in this particular context, we're talking about large distances not having any curvature, right? So most of the known surface area of the Earth is water. Okay, so large bodies of water will not curve over distance, which they would have to if the Earth's a globe, right? Now, they tell us the exact shape and size of the globe. Okay, the radius is 3959 miles. So we can calculate very easily how much curvature there should be over a given distance. And then we've gone out and we literally have tested this thousands of times. For example, if you have a 20-mile body of water, there would have to be approximately 270 feet of curvature over that distance. That's huge. That's a huge amount, right? So if you go and set up a telescope or a camera on the shoreline on one side of that body of water, you shouldn't be able to zoom in and see the shoreline 20 miles away on the other side of the lake, right? It should be hidden behind a geometric horizon. Now, the geometric horizon is another characteristic that would have to be there on a globe, along with the curvature. So based on the height of the observer, right, say I'm 6 foot tall, standing at the lake, the horizon should be 3 miles away. Anything beyond that geometric limitation should be obstructed behind the curvature of the Earth, right? You know, the old boats go over the horizon argument, that kind of thing. Now, what we found when we actually go out and test the Earth using all sorts of different methods is that we can zoom in and we can see vast distances beyond where you should be able to see on a globe, right? We're not finding that geometric horizon where it has to be on a globe. We can see 10 times, 20 times, 30 times further, depending on the weather conditions. So we've got a huge accumulation of evidence disproving that the Earth is the shape and size that they're telling us. Now, we also just utilize the Earth as flat as well, right? Like the aviation industry and many of these industries that when you look into it, they actually, treat the Earth as flat and stationary, and they say it's for simplicity purposes. But we also just experience it as that. Like you've never seen the curvature of the Earth personally. Like if you go to a large body of water, you'll see flat water. You'll see a flat horizon. You go on a plane, you'll see a flat horizon.
Have you been in a plane?
Yeah, I'm in Europe right now. I mean, I'm from Australia. I've flown all over the world, and I've never seen.
Not to be condescending, it's just like.
Yeah, I've flown on countless amounts of planes, and I'm always amazed how flat the horizon is. So I mean, I have also time-lapse footage of plane flights. I can post one right now. And you can see the horizon throughout the entire plane flight, and it's just completely flat. And even if the Earth was a globe, let me point this out, right? Even if the Earth was a globe, it would still be flat from that height, because you can only see something like 0.1% of the surface of the Earth from that height. So, it's not a flat Earth proof. I'm just saying that we experience the Earth as flat. Just experiencing it as flat isn't proof it's flat, right? You have to go and test it, right? I'm just saying what the starting point is that we all experience. That's all.
Right. That's fair. So can I ask you a question? So with like satellite imagery or whatever that we have of Earth, it kind of shows that it is a sphere. So I'm not entirely sure. Is it?
Well, not really. I mean, for example, like we've got like the blue marble images of the Earth, right? That NASA creates for us, and they said that they take a satellite and they take radio telescope data of the Earth, like scanning the Earth as it spins around. And then if you have a look at their raw data, none of it even shows any curvature anyway. I mean, you look at the raw satellite data from any of these satellites, it just shows the surface of the Earth. It doesn't show any curvature, right? A lot of the imagery that you're seeing is just composited. And if you look into it, NASA admits that these are composited images. It's a whole nother rabbit hole in itself.
Composited images, does that mean that they're like not a proper representation of what Earth looks like in space?
Well, it's supposed to be a representation of what people expect that Earth would look like from space, right? So there's a guy that works for NASA. His name's Robert Simon. And he does an interview where he explains step by step how they make these blue marble images. He says, we take 3 months worth of satellite data, and then we convert that data into what looks like images, right? And then we have a whole stack of images, and we like stitch them all together into a big flat map. And then we wrap that flat map around a ball in Photoshop. Okay. Then later on, they add in all of the clouds and everything like that. And then they keep tweaking it until it meets people's expectations of what they think that the Earth looks like from space. He says all of that pretty much word for word.
I'm sorry. What was the name of the person that you were talking
It's
about?
Robert Simon, right? So I can post the video of the interview, and I can also post a link to his NASA.gov. Yeah, his name's Mr. Blue Marble. Like that's his nickname. So just a second, I'll just find that for you really quickly.
Yeah, he said the photos from space are photoshopped because they have to be. They have to be. And he doesn't feel that he's deceiving people. He feels he's offering a service to people to give them a depiction of the Earth because we can't get those pictures.
Okay, so with the satellites kind of orbiting Earth, are they not capturing the shape with these images?
No, satellites, as we've been taught, satellites they're not like in space orbiting around a globe, so to speak. Right? You've got the interviews in the side chat there, so you can check that out like whenever you want to.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
But this is the thing, right? It's very difficult to validate any of this imagery that we're getting from these space agencies and satellites, right? It's like we can look at it. It's kind of like you need to choose whether you want to believe them, like have faith in them or not. Whereas we can actually test the Earth. That's what I was talking about. Like we can actually test for curvature over large bodies of water here on the Earth. You know, we've had teams of field engineers go out with very expensive equipment. I think it was about a $30,000 laser. Right, this is just one out of many tests, and they're shooting the laser across the surface of the water and hitting targets up to 40 kilometers away. Right, they did a whole range of different tests, and they just keep hitting their targets. There should be hundreds and hundreds of feet of curvature blocking that laser from hitting the target. We've had so many of these observations done.
Yeah, but you said 40 kilometers. That's 24 miles. When I looked up when you would be able to see the curvature of the Earth, considering the Earth is very large, it would take a lot more than 24 miles to actually see that curvature. And I could be wrong about that, but that's...
Yes, let me just clear that up really quickly. All right, so that would be seeing actual like a bending, like a convex horizon, and that's talking about going up in altitude. What I'm talking about is looking. What I'm talking about is like looking forward. So over 24 miles, there would be approximately, I think about 350 feet or more of curvature over 24 miles. I could get the exact number for you. Yeah, so that means that the horizon should be at a certain distance. So if you're setting up your camera or laser at 5 feet, the horizon should be just under 3 miles away. Now, anything beyond that 3 miles should start to dip behind the curvature of the Earth. So the shoreline or the target 24 miles away would be hidden by, the height of a skyscraper. Like you shouldn't be able to zoom in and see it, or you shouldn't be able to shoot a laser and hit a target at the same height that you're at 24 miles away. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. So what shape do you think the Earth is? Like, what is your...
Yeah, I have no idea what the actual shape of the Earth is, but we can confirm it's definitely not a globe. But the overall shape, it would be great if we could get like a God's eye or bird's eye view or whatever you want to call it, view of the Earth. But we can only get up to a certain height. Now, when we go up on a plane, it looks flat, and then what's the next height we can get to? We can send up weather balloons. So the maximum height that you can send a weather balloon up to is about 124,000 feet or something like that before the balloon explodes. And when we strap like a proper lens onto it, like not like a fisheye lens or a GoPro, but like a proper rectilinear lens that doesn't distort the lines, it's completely flat from that height. So we can show you footage of that as well. But once again, like I'm not using that as a flat Earth proof or anything like that. I'm just saying that when we go up to that altitude, that's what we observe.
And would that include like astronauts describing the Earth?
So with astronauts, yeah, so that's like a whole different topic, really. I mean, so only about 26 people, right? 26 astronauts have ever even said to have left low Earth orbit. Okay, so like that's higher than the height of like the space station or something like that. So like the Apollo missions, and it was over 50 years ago that these 26 astronauts actually claim to have done this. Now, if you spend a lot of time looking into the Apollo missions, you'll absolutely see that it's extremely controversial, right? Like you will be very skeptical after watching the documentaries on showing all of the fakery behind the Apollo missions. Even if I was a globe earther, right, I would call bullshit on the Apollo missions. because I've done my research on it. So,
Do you have like material that I can?
I can.
That you might be able to provide for that.
There's some amazing documentaries that have been made by not even by flat earthers, by globe earthers, where they interview a whole bunch of professional photographers, professional filmmakers, and things like that, and they go over all of the technical details with the shadows and how it would be impossible. So yeah, we can post a couple of those for you. One of the good ones is called American Moon, and another one's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. So I will drop those in the side chat for you in a second.
Yeah,
I'm also going to drop for your benefit some footage from the Chinese space the Chinese mission that they did on the ISS, which is claimed to be, I don't claim it to be, but they claim it to be 250 miles above the Earth's surface. And from the in-cockpit footage of the horizon, it's completely flat. And that's at 250 miles, supposedly, allegedly, above the Earth's surface. So I'll put that in the chat for you as well.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, so if you want to save them for later or something, I've just dropped A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. I'd recommend just like maybe watch that one first, or the one and above that, Travis linked to American Moon as well. So yeah, if you want to have a look at those. Now, once again, disproving NASA, like NASA's lies, doesn't prove that the Earth is flat, but you know, it's a good starting point to see that we can't trust everything that we see. We need to keep a critical thinking mind and you know, check everything.
You know, that's a really good point, and I actually really appreciate that. And sorry if I came off offensive or condescending or anything. I didn't mean to. But I will definitely be looking into that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. So yeah, look, we sort of like to keep the conversation about the actual Earth and not outer space, but I understand that most people do have a ton of questions about like how would this work? You know, what about the other planets and things like that? I just wanted to mention one thing quickly, right? We don't claim that the Earth is an object floating around in a big outer space vacuum, right? So that's the globe model, right? That's the heliocentric model, where you've got a big giant, like expanding space vacuum, right? That occurred from a big bang, where you've got all of these round planets and round floating balls of gas that are gigantic and all of that, right? It's a big sort of gravitational heliocentric model that's very complicated. Now, we're not claiming the flat Earth exists within the globe model, right? This is a completely different way of looking at this entire system that we live in. You could probably think of the Earth more like the foundation of this Earth system that we live in, right? Where the Earth is measured flat, right? It's like a plane with topography, mountains, valleys, hills, and that kind of thing. And then the stars, planets, and the sun and the moon, right? They all move in cycles above our head, right? They all move in specific cycles on their own unique paths, and they reset for all recorded, verifiable history back into the same positions. Like the stars will reset back into the same position that they were in this time last year, and so on, right? So the sky is kind of like a big clock, and you could probably think of the surface area that we know about of the Earth that we live in, kind of like a lake. Okay, so you could have like the lake, water requires a container, a puddle, a pool, a pond, a bath, a pool, whatever you want to talk about, right? They're all bodies of water. They all require a container. And then the water will, you know, conform to the shape of the container, and then the surface of the water would be flat. Like that's what we all experience with water. Now you could think of the surface of the Earth kind of like a big lake, right? Picture a big lake and you've got islands inside the lake, right? Land popping up out of the water. Think of that on a huge scale, right? And you could think of the Earth something like that, right? Like the continent being islands within a big giant like lake. You know, that's a way that I like to personally think about it myself.
So does that kind of inherently mean that you don't agree with like the equatorial bulge or anything like that, with the like spheroid idea?
Yeah, that's all just like related with the globe. That's all like the globe Earth model, really, or the globe Earth concept.
I just remember learning this stuff in school when I was younger, I think, and I'm just a bit kind of shocked.
They say because the Earth spins. Because the Earth spins, they say it's 0.3% wider at the equator. Like they say it's not quite a perfect sphere, and it's like a tiny little bit wider at the equator because of the spin of the Earth. But that's something that we would need validation for. And when we go looking for validation for all of these things, we come up short. So that's the thing. So when we go out and test the actual, Earth, it just comes up flat time and time again. So where does that leave us, right? That leaves us asking the globe side, okay, who throughout all of history actually physically went out and did the same type of tests that we're doing and measured the curvature of the Earth? And you'll come up short once you go digging into that. I know it sounds crazy at first when you hear about this, but the more you spend time looking into it, you'll be like, damn, this kind of makes a bit of sense, and it's worth looking into.
I think it's worth looking into for sure. I've heard of the controversial stuff around NASA, and I never really bought into it because I can't really imagine why NASA would, I guess, fabricate any of that. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, just from, I guess, your opinion?
Yeah. So usually
before I
that's
watch
like
the video here.
that's a question that everyone ends up asking. It's kind of like the question of, oh, okay, all of this makes a lot of sense, but why would they lie? Well, I think you need to. It's very difficult to come up with a list of people who who like we know are lying in a sense, right? Most people are not lying. Like your teachers, your parents, your college professors, most scientists, people that work at the government, most people that work for NASA, they absolutely 100% believe that the Earth is a globe. They're not lying to you. They were taught that, right? So to get the degrees that you need to get into those positions, you have to be very good at memorizing the textbooks that you get presented with at university, and then regurgitating that information on your exams and memorizing it, right? And then you're able to get your degree. Questioning that, like the core variables of that information, people don't do that. People already have no doubt that the Earth's a globe because they're taught it from a young age, right? They're not going to go to their college professor and say, well, how do you know the Earth's even a globe, right? It's not going to go well for their studies because the college professor isn't lying either. He also was taught that the Earth's a globe, right? So that's something that people just kind of take as a given, right? It's like, oh, we already know that. But once you really look into the core evidence that the Earth is a globe, like, you're not going to find any, right? Like, I would challenge you to find anyone throughout all of history who's gone out and actually empirically measured Earth curvature, like drop over distance. It doesn't exist. What you find, like if you go to Google and you type in who first measured the curvature of the Earth, it'll come up with an ancient Greek guy called Eratosthenes. Now, once you look into that, you'll find that firstly, it's very difficult to even validate that he even existed because there's no original writings from the guy at all. But let's just say he did exist, right? All he did was already pre-assumed that the Earth was a globe, and then he measured some shadow lengths, and then he did some math, and he came up with like the apparent size of the Earth, like the circumference value. So it's a calculation based off an assumption. So it's not actually like a measurement of the Earth, like what we're doing when we're going out doing these laser tests and things like that. So yeah, I don't want to drag on into different topics too much and confuse you.
No, I appreciate
I was just going to say something, DJ, just whilst you were there. It's just that what the young lady, Lasha, I think her name is, what you've got to remember, that nobody knows the shape of the Earth. No human being today, as you're sitting where you are, can claim to know the shape of the Earth. Now, when they say they know it's a spheroid, they don't know because they haven't actually gone out to measure it. Because if they did, they're going to find flat Earth. Okay? You haven't measured it yourself, so you don't really know. Until you go out and check it, then nobody knows. That's the main thing here. Nobody knows the shape of the Earth.
Wait,
and we cannot, let me just finish this off. We cannot leave Earth, as was said, to get like a God's eye view of the shape. No human being can do that. So we don't actually know the shape. But what we do know is that the surface, we know that much. It's not a globe. Finished. There you go. Okay?
Okay. So you said we can't get a God's eye view. I kind of thought that that's what like the astronauts were doing and that satellites were doing.
They never went. They never went to the moon. They never went to the moon. No human being has left Earth to go to the moon. Okay, when you get into this subject matter more information will come to you, and you'll come to a better understanding. I'll just say this: the vacuum of space will kill whatever we put into it, whatever equipment. That's why satellites can't be there. We're not a globe, and satellites couldn't be there. Even if Earth was a globe, let's say, satellites couldn't be there. They'd be killed by the vacuum due to the outgassing phenomena where the molecules that make up the satellite want to separate in a vacuum because there's no air and no pressure to keep it all together. Because it's a vacuum, everything begins to pull and separate and then gas off through the heat of gas, okay? So there's no way they could be there. No human being has gone to the moon. Those astronauts have lied, 100%.
Okay, so how do our phones work?
Hold on, can I just add? DJ mentioned earlier a documentary by Bert Sabral called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. I really encourage you to watch that documentary. There's actual direct footage of them faking the image that they took of the Earth when they were supposedly halfway to the moon. And there's evidence to show that they weren't really halfway to the moon. They were in low Earth orbit. So I'd really encourage you to look at that documentary.
Yeah, it's just that's a bit overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot of claims that have just been made, and I'd like to ask you, DJ,
a lot of information.
What he said? Do you agree with what this gentleman just said as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I just wanted to touch on the phone thing really quickly, right? Because that was a question that you asked, and if you look it up, you can look this up anytime you want, and you'll find out that over 99% of all communication is done via undersea cables and ground towers. Now, phones don't operate like the way you're thinking, right? Some people think that the internet and phones and everything like that are operating via all these satellites, but it's actually done by undersea cables, and undersea cables are actually something like 8 times faster than the claimed satellite speeds anyway. So it's the most convenient way to have high quality, information transferred around the world. And look, when maybe after you watch the documentaries that you were sent, come back and ask questions after you've been shown some really technical information about them. I would say that most of the stuff from NASA, we just can't validate it at the end of the day. You know, it's going to come down to whether you want to have faith and trust in NASA. But first, you should have a look at the deception first. Yeah. Someone else wanted to jump in.
Hang on. I posted the relevant documentary regarding the telecommunications and the cables that are being repaired, and they mentioned the fact that 95%, they say, of our communications happen via these cables, and 10 trillion, for example, financial communications go through these cables every day. No satellites at all. Okay, the documentary is there. That's only 15 minutes long. Lasha, enjoy it. It's not very long. Whenever you're ready. Bye.
Wow, dude, that is so much to take in. You know that?
That is
you're gonna get a lot of.
I don't want to overwhelm you, or bring up old feelings. But at the end of the day, as simply as it can be put, we don't have to. As a matter of fact, I could say NASA is full of shit because one, you can't have gas pressure without containment, and they claim that's what's happening in their cosmology. That just goes against the second law of thermodynamics. Whenever we bring it up to them or professors act like that the second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply to the Earth. But really, more importantly, as we were talking about, the Earth measures flat. You can't have an Earth that measures flat when what they're showing you is a curve. So if when you from NASA or satellites or any of this stuff, then the simple response would be, we would be also realizing that curvature on the Earth. You do the math. What's hard to see is the curvature, because supposedly only 26, 27 humans have actually seen it because they went to the moon or they had missions to the moon. And again, we don't believe that stuff. But the people on the ISS, the people who've been in planes at 250 miles above the Earth's surface, if it were a globe, you're only seeing 3% of a diameter. It's like 8,000 miles. You're not seeing any curved horizon. That's not coming from me. That's coming from Paul Larson, planetarium director, the guy that did the Eratosthenes lecture. So the bottom line is, all we're saying is it measures flat. There's no measurable curvature. That's exactly directly why what they're showing us from NASA has to be fake, because we're not detecting the curvature that we see in the supposed photos that they're giving. It's that simple. If the Earth measured flat, we wouldn't be talking about this. I mean, if the Earth were measured globe.
Yeah, I'm not particularly understanding what you're getting at. I apologize, but I'd like to ask the other gentleman that mentioned something about satellites that would be destroyed in the space vacuum. Can you explain that a little bit more? Because I don't understand that either.
They are claiming there is a pressure 10 to minus 17 torr. That's so low pressure.
Yeah, I was going to do that, Sasha. Yeah, I was going to do that, Sasha. Let me just do that. Sorry. Yeah, so basically, Lasha, what it is that space, as it's been described to us by the experts, is devoid of air. Okay. Now, when there's no air in space and we put something that is man-made into a vacuum, it begins to fall apart dramatically quick. What I mean by that is the molecules that make up, let's say, the aluminium body of the spacecraft starts to separate. And as they separate into individual molecules, they gas off. That's what the outgassing is, or off-gassing in America. Okay, in university, it's called degassing. Okay, the vacuum of space separates the molecules. The vacuum, okay, they move apart, gas off, and vaporize. So if that's happening to your spacecraft, it means that the pressure, the air pressure you have inside the spacecraft is going to push against the outside of the spacecraft, which is deteriorating at a dramatically rapid rate.
That makes sense.
An explosion would ensue, and everybody would die.
So that means it would implode, basically, no?
No, it would explode because there's no pressure. Hang on, there's no pressure on the outside pushing against it, right? That's why it's separating, and then the pressure on the inside is pushing outwards. Okay, that's where you have an explosion. Okay.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense. And you said it's called degassing?
Yeah, degassing is the molecules. The molecules are separating each other, and then because of that, they gas off, poof, and vaporize. Okay.
That makes sense, actually. And so, there's no way to seal that. Like, you can't.
Impossible. Because whatever, let's say you made a sealant. Let's say you could make a sealant. Again, that would be subject to the vacuum. So the molecules that make up the sealant will separate. Yeah, that's the tyranny of the vacuum. It will kill anything you put in there. We will never have that.
That actually makes more sense. Jeez,
and Lasha, and the claimed vacuum chamber, what you can produce on Earth, it's a billion times, lower than what is in the space.
Yeah, we cannot replicate what space is like. Okay, so how could NASA have then gone to space when they couldn't test their equipment? Because in order to go to space, you would have tested your equipment to destruction, and that destruction point is where you begin to make your safe spacecraft. But they didn't achieve that, so there's no way they could have gone. No way.
I actually thought that they sent animals into space in
That's a
exactly
lie.
with what
They never did. They lied.
Really?
You ever
that's
thought
Russia.
about the Van Allen radiation belt and what like what
I'm
they
sorry.
say?
Let me turn your microphone up. You're awfully quiet. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the conditions of space and the Van Allen radiation belt. Like, if you really think about it, because they're claiming that the exosphere is what protects us from the harsh rays of the sun, and wouldn't that be everywhere else in space though? Like, if us living on Earth and having this magnetic field is protecting us from that somehow, then what about soon as you leave the Earth? How's the camera equipment going to survive that environment?
Yeah, exactly. The radiation would kill the film. In order for the film to survive the radiation, you got to put it in an ice box at minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's going to shatter the film. The film's going to crack because it's too cold, so you can't use it. And that's just to survive the radiation whilst they're traveling through the radiation belts, through space to land on the moon. Impossible. There were just too many obstacles in the way. They were not prepared to go. No human being has ever landed on the moon.
But Lasha, what is more important than what Elijah said before? It's a second law of thermodynamics, and that's a law of nature. It's happening every time. Nobody do understand that you cannot make science on that. That's happening every time. The high pressure is going to low pressure. That's happening, and you cannot have gas pressure without containment. But Earth is not contained in the heliocentric model. Earth is going through that vacuum to incredible speeds.
Wow. Okay.
And you have stationary Earth, and you have this gas pressure. What you breathe, it's 40.7 psi. If it's lower or higher, you will die. Do you understand? And they are claiming that you are going with all this atmosphere, clouds, and everything, all these gases through that vacuum. What is low pressure, 66,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's impossible.
That's what you need to believe if you believe it. I believed in that, but when you think a little bit like a human being, how is that possible?
Yeah, the research helps you to understand, basically. And that's for the spacesuits. And NASA said that the spacesuits were pressurized at 3.7 psi. Well, a human being is going to die in that spacesuit because the spacesuit has to be minimum 14.7 or 18 psi to keep the being optimal and safe. Any lower than that, and the body starts to expand, just like the molecules want to separate. Your body starts to want to separate in the suit, and then you faint, you die, and good night. So they could never have gone. Okay, it's just not possible.
And think about this: they have space suite. They could produce vacuum chamber on the Earth 10 to minus 17 torr. I will tell you the math, but it's think about it. They can only make a test with 10 to minus 6 torr, but there is a 1 billion time low pressure. But they still was outside of the. You didn't test it. That how can that suite can resist that pressure? No, we will send there even if it's billion times low pressure. Doesn't matter. It's the same. It's not the same. You need to. You need to test everything for everything. How you test something and you don't know, you cannot produce that on the air, that pressure, but you will send the people in that pressure.
Yeah. I think Sasha's had a lot there now. She's now well laden. So let's get a reaction from Lasha herself. And I think we should slow down now. She's got a lot of information there, and there's lots in the side chat. So how do you feel now, Lasha, after coming in, a little bit obnoxious, a little bit rude here and there? Okay, a little bit of a clash, but now
but I feel pretty mind fucked right now.
Like everybody does in the past. That's why I ask you, ask about their position and see what is going on. If you think that is retarded, you go home and you live your life and everything is cool.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry about that.
If you're being genuine right now, like, actually, you haven't seen anything. Like, you touched on eclipses, and the eclipses, like, there's something called the Selenilian eclipse, aka the geometrically impossible eclipse.
So does that mean Russia and China also faked? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, how does that work?
Because none of that's real. Like what you see on TV.
I'm gonna do my research, okay? Because I obviously am not just going to take random individuals' word over anything. So I'm going to definitely do a lot of digging on this. That is insane.
Well, the one thing you haven't really gotten information about is the one thing we centrally talk about, which is how the Earth measures. I could throw a few buzzwords out there. Don't know if you're interested. Elevation angles. How you measure in degrees with respect to the plane of the Earth. There's a number of things. How we fight fires, even. How we get a reading of the sea floor. Like, if you look into the technology that they're using and the measurements that they're making, the Earth is always treated as it's flat. And then the caveat, because it's a system. It's like, yeah, that's how we do it. But of course, we know that the Earth is a sphere. They always put that at the end. But what they're showing us is how they measure it. I don't really care what they say. I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm looking at what's capable. Like, again, I don't want to overflood you, but there's a guy by the name of Al-Biruni, and they claim that he measured or calculated the radius of the Earth using the dip to the horizon. Well, before he did that, he had to utilize the Earth as flat to use trigonometry to measure the height of the mountain in the first place. This is all we're saying. We're just pointing out, like, dude, like, you're saying it's a globe, but you're using it as well, all this space stuff and all this other information, and oh my God, the super of the world, the beef in China and Russia, like, all that shit is fake. Excuse my language in the English. And the last thing was talking about eclipses, because you brought up the moon, but the Selenilian eclipse was like one of the first things I saw that I was like, oh yeah, for sure. There's no way there's no way that eclipses are what they told me. And you look it up and you realize what a Selenilian eclipse is, and you're like, okay, the game is up, the jig is up. So you just gotta take it serious, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Lasha, I want to give you one more information. Do you know what is elevation profile?
No, you can explain.
I will post the picture. Do you see in voice text chat? See the picture?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, this is the race, bike race in Scotland. This is something like, I think it's written, let me see how many. I think it's 100 and something kilometers, And elevation change. You see the mountains?
Yeah.
To see the base?
No.
The base of all these mountains.
Mm-hmm.
That's the distance from point A to point B.
Okay.
Do you see that line?
Yeah.
That's 100 and something kilometer flat line.
Mm-hmm. 125.
Doesn't matter. I think it's something like that. But that's the surface. That's the surface of the Earth, and all above it's a elevation change, mountains, hills.
Mm-hmm.
If that was on the sphere, that line should to be curved.
No, yeah, that makes sense because it's 201 kilometers, 121 miles.
Now I want
that makes sense.
Now I want that you imagine that this is USA from the east to the west.
Okay.
And from the left side is the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific. On the right side, it's Atlantic Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff is measured because of this sea level. Atlantic Ocean is leveled and Pacific Ocean is leveled. And all above that, it's elevation profile. And it's going flat. Do you understand me now? All this is like a Scotland. But imagine this is all USA. This is only elevation change, but they are all above the sea level. That means that from left side to the right side, it's flat. Only changing elevation is not flat. But you have some flat surfaces also on the Earth, on the ground, not only not sea level only.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Holland, you have spots under the sea level.
Hey, just quickly, let me jump in. I was listening for a bit on YouTube. Sounds like you're having a good conversation, but because you were saying you wanted more information, you were going to go and do your research. Has someone given you the link to the home server with all the resources?
I've been, I guess, getting some videos and things.
Well, we've got a Discord server where we save a lot of the good information, because if you go searching on Google and YouTube, they're going to just direct you to...
it is utter bullshit. It's really hard to find stuff you guys are talking about.
So I want to give you access to some resources so that when you leave this conversation, you can actually do some research on the other side that you've not been given access to. So what's your name?
Let me see. Which one? Who was speaking? I'll just
Cyclone.
or something. Okay.
Yeah, send me a thing and I'll send you the link to the server and I'll tell you where to look, because there's loads of channels on it, but we've got a resource section specifically for doing some research.
I sent you a friend request.
All right. 2 secs.
But yeah, send me whatever you can and the link to the Discord server. And I appreciate you guys giving me the information. I'm also a bit curious on how you would, I guess, measure Earth's curvature as well. I'm completely ignorant to that. So anything related to that would be great as well.
Someone's up on my Discord anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I've already done that. It's okay, Wolfganger. Lasha, if you look at GIN CBR1 or even Sasha, you will come across the curvature chart, and that will help you how to measure the curvature of the Earth, okay? You've got to scroll back.
Yeah,
You'll have to scroll back and come across it.
Sorry,
Okay?
there's a bunch of
Whilst you were talking about the satellites and everything, I was busy posting the right relevant information, images, videos. It's all there under GIN CBR1, or Sasha also posted some material as well. Okay, so you've got to scroll through and look at it. You've got a lot there to get through. There's a few hours, so I suggest you look at that stuff first and then come back. That's all you got to do. You got 2 bags full of stuff. Let's get through that slowly and then come back. Okay.
Fair enough. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, because you were asking some good questions. You seem to be following the right trail. So whilst you were talking, I took the liberty of posting a few things that you would need to check. That would help you, especially the one with the telecommunications. It's the one with the cable going across the screen, black and yellow cable. You know, scary job repairing, because the people who repair the cables tell you how they repair it, and whilst they're telling you how they repair it, they inform you how the whole world is using it. Okay, and it's not satellites. Also, I posted an image regarding the stuff that's in the air, the drones and little helium balloons. That's all in there as well, so you can pick that up as well. Okay, so I suggest you look back across what's been posted from now and go back slowly, and you'll find a lot of stuff related to what you're talking to. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully you'll come back. Yeah, hopefully you'll come back. You'll have a discussion with your colleagues and your friends, and then you'll have more questions. And you come back, we will be here. Okay, waiting for you.
Awesome. And I appreciate you guys for the patience and for the conversation. I'm going to go check that out. And then, man, this is going to take me a while.
That's right. Yeah, that's the whole point. It will take a while. Just take your time, Take your time. Don't rush it. Do it at your pace. We're not in a hurry for you to come back, of course, because we do realize we've given you a lot of work. That's the reason why, So due diligence is important. So just take your time.
Thanks for the enlightening conversation. But I'm going to go watch some of these videos now.
Thank you very much.
Y'all have a good day. All right.
And you too. You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well done, DJ. DJ really hit the ball there. And what was it, Roots? Elijah started off smoothly, although it got a bit sticky with her there. But, everybody did well. I would have said Sasha as well. Matrix, yeah. Everyone helped along. It was good. Look at her. She leveled out. Haha, unintended. Leveled out. Get it? Curvature, level. She leveled out.
Does anybody else have any questions for the panel? Anybody that's been listening have any evidence for why they think they live on a globe? Or just any questions? If you don't feel comfortable, you could type it in the side chat.
It's better than, hey, excuse me. It's more like, I've done it all the time. I do it at clubs and stuff. It wasn't to be this. It's just like people know, like, something happened. Yeah, snapping is, all of that is disrespectful, I think. I'm just trying to get attention and let you know. I'm looking for this right here.
Yeah. Elijah, you're hot micing. Yeah, can you give me 2 of those as well, please? I'll have 2 of those, what you're having. He's shocking. Do you remember he said he was going to go to the shops?
Yeah, so to anybody new who's just joined us, just asking if anybody has any questions. Yeah, cool. 646 is defense, so he must have something more important going on. Yeah, of course, we have Bendy Light returning to regale us with his dizzying intellect. Adriano Pinheiro, welcome. Ada Diallo, welcome. Kohi, welcome. We got Ninfong, welcome. Then we have all of Yasa, welcome. And we have all the members of our panel. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, well done, Johnny. Welcome yourself, and welcome to all the newcomers who have just come in. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. Make this visit, make it count. You're here now. Strike whilst the iron is hot. Ask any questions you like. It doesn't matter how strange you might think it might be. Just ask. We all learn from all the questions, okay? Any queries?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Just for anybody on the panel who didn't know the title of the event, it's Do You Have Any Globe Proof is the name of the event today. That's happening live right now. So,
yeah,
like I said, even if you don't have any globe proof, it's fine. If you have any questions about why we know the Earth is not a globe, you could go ahead and ask those questions as well. But try and keep your questions on topic and one at a time, please. And again, side chat if you don't feel comfortable vocalizing.
Sorry, guys. I have to leave right now.
Oh, okay. That's a shame. No questions then, no? Okay. Well, it did go well anyway. It went nice.
Yeah, Bendy Light, you wanna mic up and speak to some of us? You're welcome to, if you're not predisposed. Yeah, the floor is open, guys. We're not talking because we don't have anybody out of the group that's engaging with us vocally. So the last young lady that was in here is obviously finished with her time. So anybody else wants to hop on stage, that would be a great time.
Yo, what the fuck? Why is nobody talking?
Oh, we're just waiting for you to come along.
Yeah, watch your language, please, John. Appreciate that. But yeah, thanks for being here. I just went over why we weren't talking.
So what news do you bring? Do you bring us news of the curvature? Bring any curvature news? I guess not then, ladies and gentlemen. No news of curvature.
Yeah. Right. We got 33 people in here. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so we're hosting an event, right? The event is called Do You Have Any Globe Proof? So just asking, do you have any globe proof, or you here to ask some questions? If you don't, that's fine. Don't have any globe evidence, that's fine.
I was like, damn, bro, you got 33 people in here. That's crazy. But anyway,
Okay.
yeah, it's a nice one. I'll be moving on. Bye-bye.
That's all right, no worries. We've been very thorough in what we've been talking about and covering all the angles and giving some really spicy answers, real stuff. I mean, the young lady that was here, Lasha, yeah, she latched on to every word we were saying, and she was definitely having her mind blown. And she even still she wanted more. She kept asking questions. Yeah, well, what about China? And what about China? And yeah, it was explained, yeah, China's in on the deception as well. Wow, she's thinking, yeah. So yeah, we really did do a very good, thorough job. So I think everyone in here now, especially the Globers, they're just thinking about everything. Could it be true what they said? They're probably looking at the material that we posted in the side chat as well, covering the topic matter, because that's quite important as well.
So I think he left. Huh?
Yeah, he said he was going to move on anyway. He said there's 33 people in there. I guess I'll move on. He said, and so he did, which is okay.
He's like, I don't want to join a call with so many people in it. Okay, don't. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, yeah, I didn't mention you earlier on. Yeah, you were giving some really good, what's the word I'm looking for there? Comparisons and scenarios, very explanatory. Yeah, and she took it on board in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy. I feel like I maybe set the stage for that last young gal.
Yeah, actually, you did. You see, yeah, that's why I said sorry. I forgot to mention you there. Yeah, it's good. It really was.
Yeah, well, it was obvious when she stated her one statement, kind of like gave away the goat, right? She said, "Oh well," she said, "Well, at least I know you're well educated," right? When Crit was speaking.
That's right. Well remembered.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she said. And then Crit, what did Crit do? He combed his hair and that, just brushed himself up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll take a step back. I mean, at that point, your only way is down, so I'll just kind of...
Yeah, but you did a fantastic job. And then she did come in, what are our beliefs? She was asking, what are your beliefs? Do you believe in the firmament, stuff like that? So are you denying science? But it didn't take her long to realise that, after Crit and DJ really did lay out, she realised, I need to do my research. And then Elijah, her interaction with Elijah set her back. She calmed right down after that. Right, she started listening, and then the next words coming out of her mouth were, "I'm going to need to do some research. So if you've got any material, you can direct me to." That was brilliant. Boom, she was leveled. Yeah, good. And then she started listening. Yeah, it was good. Excellent. Hopefully, we get some more of those people coming in. Come on, guys. I know you're in there. Come on, you Globers. You must have one question, or did we really answer everything? And now you're contemplating. Yeah, it's a flat Earth. I'm going to do a little bit of research, and I'm going to be a flat Earther. Can you believe it? I'm actually going to be a flat Earther, man. Wow. Am I ready? Oh, am I ready? Oh, what am I going to say to my family? What am I going to say to my friends? I never had any of those problems. The truth is the truth, and I just moved on, not skipping a beat. Couldn't wait to tell people. But I did have the intellect to understand it. I had to learn a bit more because I understood it, but I couldn't articulate it. So yeah, there's a lot of terminologies and that you have to get dialed in, and numbers and stuff just to get it perfect. So yeah, but once I got it dialed in there, and I got it dialed in as I was on the fly anyway. So I was just the basic stuff I knew well, and kept that going whilst I was uploading the more intellectual stuff, or should I say, the more accurate numbers and terminologies. Yeah, but I did it on the fly. I couldn't wait to get out there. And then I ended up on the Globe Light Tour live streams through 2017, 2018. And I loved every minute of it all. Destroying the opposition. I even got my blue spanner, which means you can then really attack those trolls. Yes. I loved it. That was really funny. Really, really, really funny to take it on the trolls. just in case you're wondering, guys, the Earth Awakenings channel seems to have died the past few days. Not much action going on. The FPD, that would be the Nathan Oakley, that seems to be quiet. And then Omnivores has been quiet for the last 3 days. Quiet. Gem Panda, noisy as ever. And then here it's been roaring here as well. So just in case you're wondering what the others are up to. Obviously, it's the summer season.